Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on one thing, single barrels. Best of all, you can try before you buy. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution so you know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and who from the industry may be coming in to visit. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. We're also sponsored by the Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers traveling minibars that are no bigger than a small purse or toiletry bag. Best of all, they are fully customizable so you can create the perfect piece that is unique for you. If you own your own business, what a fun and unique way to promote what you do. Check them out online at thebar2go.com. That is the number 2 in the Bar to Go. If you have wholesale questions, call my friend Isabel Clark at 504-481-1297. Finally, we are sponsored by the Neely Family Distillery. NFD is a family-owned business that keeps ringing up awards in the spirits world. Head to Sparta, Kentucky to experience the family history, award-winning spirits, and meet the Neely family. Check them out online at neelyfamilydistillery.com. Now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we discuss if we think bourbon media is dying. My name is McNew. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, along with our special guests, Kathy Cool, Katie Joyce, and Tim Swyatt.
Hey gang, what's up?
Hey guys.
Hello.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about bourbon media. We've got some examples of things that don't seem to be going very well. We'll get to that after the break. For right now, though, Tim said there's something he wanted to talk about. What is that, sir?
Yeah, so with the weather changing, getting really cold up here, I don't know what you guys do locally there. I turn into a pretty big bookworm. And I always do a lot of reading anyways on free time versus watching TV and all that stuff. That's why I'm not hip to all the shows out there, except I just finished The Boys, Steve, on your recommendation.
Oh, yeah.
And that was spectacular.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Right up my alley.
Yeah, that's a great show. Yep.
So
Get your for episode 1. No.
Yeah. That was something else. Give me another recommendation. I'll find out time to watch that too. So I'm reading a lot of whiskey books and things like that, but I'm getting other types of genres, if you want to say it that way. Different types of things. Is anybody reading? What are you guys reading normally?
Do you want some recommendations for smut books?
I was just gonna say, because usually the ladies hide their porn. The ladies hide it in plain sight in their books on the wall.
You read it like a fucking lady, okay? So.
It's always
curious.
or psychological thrillers. We're either like banging or getting murdered over here. That's all we're.
I deal with the murders at work, so I'm good on reading those.
Yeah.
This is a handy conversation. I'm sitting in my library.
I don't read books typically, but I do.
Steve don't read good.
I don't read good, but I listen to books, audiobooks. So I've always got an audiobook going. So I just finished up one on Kennedy women, and my God, anybody who likes the Kennedys, you just need to listen to what they have done to their women through the years is fucking insane. Those people are just despicable. So that's an amazing one.
Okay, I'll put that one down on my list.
Yeah, the Kennedy women, it goes through all of them, and it's just unbelievable. So
I know about Rosemary and the lobotomy and whatnot.
Oh, it just goes on and on. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about everything from cheating on them to killing them and all kinds of amazing things. So
is it this one, the Ask Not, the Kennedys and the women they destroyed?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Adding that to cart. Right.
And then right now I'm listening to Moon Unit Zappa's. Also fascinating. I'm early on in that one. She's still a kid right now as I'm listening to this. But yeah, just an amazing childhood. I mean, Frank, while musically a genius, pretty out there guy. I mean, yeah. I mean, literally, like, he's living like in the basement with his girlfriends. His wife lives upstairs, and then he has this cavalcade of girlfriends, and he's either working, like he works like all day. Like, he's definitely into his music is like number one in his life. I mean, so he's got that, and then he's got girlfriends and pictures of orgies, and it's just the kid's grown up in this weird. It's amazing that there seems so, like, he's got 4 kids, and Dweezil and Moon seem very normal to me, and then the other ones I don't know as much, but I don't know. I learn more as I get into the book, I guess. But yeah,
You lean more towards biographies and historical figures or current figures and stuff like that is what you lean to as well, right?
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, I'm big into all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So yes, I use that Libby. Do you guys use that? That's it's audiobooks for free through your library. So yeah,
wonderful source.
It is. It's amazing. So yeah. And
because they have the variety that you can do the tablet like to read it, or they do the audiobook as well. And so you have the options, which that makes sense. You do audiobooks, Steve, because you're so busy that if you were only going to read them, you wouldn't get through many at all. So that makes sense. You do the audiobooks.
A lot of times I got them going on in the shop or when I'm driving to places, you name it, I got it going on. So yeah. And then some, it's kind of cool the way it sets up too. Like you get it delivered and you're like, I've got too many out right now. You just snooze this for 20 days or something, and it's cool. It's cool. So that would be what I do. Who else wants to?
The respectable books that I would recommend would be there's American Sniper by Chris Kyle. It's an older one, but if you have not read that, I definitely recommend it. There's also the Lee Child books that then were made into the Reacher TV series. So Jack Reacher, those are good. There's Love and Whiskey by Fawn Weaver. I definitely recommend that one. There's a She-Hulk book that I can recommend if anyone's interested in that I really have read like 3 times. I have all of my books in the Katie Decimal System, and so I'm looking at the different categories. The Dewey Decimal System didn't quite do it, so I had to amend it a little bit.
Just like your whiskey collection organization method.
Yep, pretty much. There is, if you are not wanting like a heavy book, but just something like where you learn a little bit, but it's highly entertaining, there is this book series. It's called Fucking History. It's by The Captain. And it's like just like short little excerpts of actual like historical events, but he finds like off the wall ones, and it's really easy just like to flip through and read, but it's highly entertaining. So that's
a good travel book for.
Yes,
that's what I'm looking for. Like sit at the bar, stuff like that. I have a few
exactly because you can read. It's like usually like 1 page, maybe 2 about each like historical event, so you can read it for a very short time and put it back away, and you don't get lost. So, and he has a few of them. I think it's Fucking History, and then another Fucking History. But if you look that up by The Captain, you can find them.
Is it the Captain and Tennille or Kangaroo?
He just goes by The Captain. He's got a huge like social media following, and he posts little snippets all the time. He's fascinating to follow.
Yeah. Okay.
One of my favorites that I read actually recently is called Lula Dean's Little Library of Banned Books. It would fall into what kind of category is that even? It is not a smut book. That is probably just like a young adult type book, but it's a kind of like a rom-com-ish type thing, type book. But Lula Dean's Little Library of Banned Books. I read it very quickly. It was fantastic. It was a cute little story about the small town and how they're trying to ban books and then people like fighting against it. But it was wonderful. If you're wanting a little bit of a light read, but that feels like it has a little purpose to it.
Okay. McNew, how about you?
So I'm kind of with Katie. I read a lot of smut books, but I also read a lot of psychological thrillers. But one I read this year, which is kind of based on true stories, is called The Fixer: Moguls, Mobsters, Movie Stars in Maryland. So I have this fascination with old Hollywood, and these guys kind of like dissect all those old relationships and like give you like the nitty gritty details of everything they would like sweep under the rug. And I thought it was fascinating. It's called The Fixer. It's by Josh Young and Manfred Westphal. It's really good. So I would recommend it. Just for fun facts. Like you don't have to read it like front to back. Like pick out a star you like and read all their dirt. It was so good. And it's all old Hollywood people.
Okay. And who's the author?
Hold on. I just had it up.
Joseph Finder?
No.
Okay.
I thought you said Josh Young and somebody.
It is Josh Young and Manfred Westphal.
Okay.
That last name is Westphal.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it was a fun read. Really good.
Okay. Sounds interesting. All right. Kathy, how about you?
So I usually find authors. So I've also read a lot of the Reacher books by Lee Child. And I found that a lot of other people are writing Reacher books, and it's not him. So I stay away from those. But Andy Weir, he wrote The Martian that movie was based on.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of really good books. And John Scaldi, also kind of like a space kind of genre. I like his
sci-fi,
stuff.
but it's like a real thinker, but more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing that got me about John Scaldi, he wrote a book called The Red Shirt. And the red shirt in Star Trek was the guy who always died. So that's how he hooked me.
Oh.
And then I've read a lot of his stuff. Recently I read
Didn't Chekhov have a red shirt?
Hmm?
Didn't Chekhov have a red shirt?
No, that was Chewbacca.
Chewbacca had bandoliers.
Piss off a few people right there. Hope
He
the
did
audience
have a
members on
red
that
shirt.
He did. Chekhov did.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't die.
Lots to think about. Nice.
Eventually he died because he got
It's
old.
a thing. If you went down to a planet and you were wearing the red shirt, you were going to
Standing
die.
out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not the Carson yellow guy. He always stayed behind the steering wheel.
Right?
Well, he's the captain.
He's the captain. Anyway, I would recommend some of those.
Okay.
I like it.
I think
All right.
I had more, but Steve got me all distracted.
Well, how did I get you to? I asked some legitimate questions.
Arguing with me about red shirts. Oh,
Well, I
Little
thought Chekhov
Fires-
had a red shirt. I didn't watch it close enough, but it seems like he did. And if so, it doesn't follow suit with that. 'Cause
Well, he never went down to the planets.
I thought he did sometimes. But I didn't watch that much. Maybe he didn't.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just kind of liked him because he was the Russian.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm Russian background myself. Grandmother Russian. She liked Chekhov. She was a Chekhov fan.
Chekhov fan. Books about Chekhov.
Tim, how about you, man?
Right now, I'm working through it. It's funny how you say, like, you look at historical figures and historical people. God, they're screwed up. They're just like all the rest of us. It's amazing. So I'm reading a book right now called American Caesar. It's a biography on General George MacArthur. And I visited West Point. I was at a
George. That's a combination of George Patton and Douglas MacArthur.
Douglas MacArthur. There it is. Yes. Yes. It is. It's a love child of both. Yes.
Okay.
It's Douglas MacArthur.
They're both fascinating guys, by the way, and I've had books about both of them. There are yes.
Yeah. This one's real interesting. It goes back to his history from when he started as a kid. Now his mom stayed at West. In order for him to go to West Point, she had to stay there, and she would watch his room. And if the light wasn't out at certain times, she'd walk over to the house manager and walk and make him go to bed. And she was like micromanaging everything this guy did. It's crazy.
Really?
But yeah, this whole American Caesar, because I got this biography kick because I started reading old westerns. It was I wrote by I think his name is Vincent Ambrose. It was a dual biography of Crazy Horse and General George Custer as they walk through their careers. From like 15, 16, 18 years old, they would flip between the chapters between the two, and that was something. So I got into some of that stuff and started reading that, and I'm like, okay, because I was tired of reading 50 Shades of Grey on the train when I was going downtown all the time.
Did you put like a fake book cover over it so you could pretend you were reading something else?
So I was a big Barnes and Noble Nook fan. I still have the original one. It's nice, good. It hides everything well. But yeah, when you're walking off the train already red faced, you didn't walk anywhere yet or exercise. You're like, oh.
Do you those Bill O'Reilly books? You read those or listen to them? Fantastic.
I heard they're good too.
Martin Duggard and Bill O'Reilly. And again, a lot of people don't like him because he's political, but he's not in the books. The books are not political at all.
Yeah.
Historical. Yeah. And so if you don't like the guy, don't ignore those just because you don't agree with him, align with him politically. Because none of them are. He did one too about. They did kind of the dirt on all presidents, which was interesting. That was like their latest one, and so not the stuff you usually hear about. It was the interesting things that you might not have heard about. So that was a good book too. And again, doesn't get political at all. It's, if they're just reporting as to the facts. So yeah, good stuff.
Good recommendations there, kids. Thanks for the help.
There you go. There's our book club. Maybe we'll start the book club once a month.
Start
We
a
talk
book club.
about-
There you go.
Yes, it's a new thing. Yes, we become the Oprah of podcasts, and yes, it's a huge thing. So, yeah. All right. On that note, guess what, gang? It's time to drink. What is everyone drinking? Let's start with McNew. McNew, what do you got?
I have an old pepper pick from the ABV Barrel Shop.
Okay. Oh, solid. Could be enough. We'll see.
I bet.
Katie's next.
I
Katie,
have
what do you got?
Just me. I have an MB Roland. I have the Mystery Machine.
Okay. All right. I like it. Oh,
Got it.
McNew had a good one. She's gone, though. She gone.
Yep. Number 2.
I don't even have my audio settings tonight because I'm on the browser because Zoom's an asshole. Look.
Yeah, your IT department. All right. Swyatt, what do you got?
I'm going to be in third place with my bottle of 2023 limited edition Yellowstone.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Slide them set.
That didn't even line up. That was your best. Oh, did Katie do that?
I know.
Katie did that.
Okay, I was going to say.
I was waiting for her just like mine. I was like, wait a minute. Is that
Tim was going to take credit for it. You see the pride, the look of pride? He was like, oh, not bad, right?
I came through. No, I saw Katie.
I did.
Put your hands below the desk next time, Katie.
I wasn't watching
Check the
Katie
mail.
there. But now I got to keep my eye on Katie. I was watching Tim. I made a mistake. I was too busy watching Tim. So, yeah. All right, I got the.
You only noticed because my timing was off.
Yeah. I was like, that did not line up at all.
No.
If you two work on that just a little bit, you might be able to make it work. You almost got me that time. I've got Middle West Pumpernickel Rye finished in a VDN barrel. One of the special ones. Came with the canister. Yes. We bought a barrel of this, and I told the owner, come to the can. I told the owner of the company, I'm buying the barrel. I want to get some of this, and they had already sold it all, so he had to go out into the market and get some, and then repackage it and send it to us. So, which is
dang.
Yeah.
Look
So
at you.
because I love the VDN finish. It's my favorite, and I was like, and I love the Pumpernickel Rye. This is a marriage of both. So
This is what happens.
Yeah. Let's see what we got here. Oh, this is going to be close. This is going to be close. We have to throw it to Kathy. Our rules is you got to have someone who's not competing. It's going to be Kathy.
The pressure.
It's going to be Kathy. Kathy, you got to make the call here. And no matter what it is, Katie, we're going to have to
I
live
have
with whatever
commentary on them if you want to hear my commentary.
Okay,
Kathy,
let's hear the
before you-
commentary.
So I heard more of a crisp pop with Steve's. I think mine was a little more canon-like. However, Steve's had that crisp pop to it. So it goes down to your preference, I think, between the two of those options.
Yeah.
Or you could have the way that Tim threw his sound to an entirely different box on the Zoom. So, I mean, you could just say that he's winning now instead of either one of us.
Yeah.
This is so
So,
hard.
Kathy, here's what happens. Let's get the audience caught up here because this is happening. So it's been thrown to appeal. We have to throw it to the person who hasn't gone yet. They're going to be deciding. Now, remember, you still get to go. This could be not even matter at the end of the day because you could do something that beats it. But that being said, you're going to have to decide who you're going against here. Is it going to be me or is it going to be Katie?
Man, they were both really good. And people always say that nobody votes for Steve, and the cheating on Swyatt, that's going to play against you on this one. So I'm voting for Steve.
Oh, yes, nice.
That was fair. That was fair.
Oh, that took a turn.
That
That
took
did.
a turn.
Well done,
All right.
Kathy.
So here's where we're at. I have the
Look at
lead,
all the facts.
but Kathy hasn't gone yet, so we got to see what she does here.
I have a brand new bottle
Okay, she's
Oh,
going
if you
for it.
would.
of Bare Knuckle.
Bare Knuckle. Ooh, that's a really good whiskey too.
Mm-hmm.
That is a good one.
Oh, that wins for sure.
Nailed it.
I think she got it. I think
She
Kathy
got
gets it.
that one.
So all that work, and
Well
we
played,
didn't have
cool.
to do it. So
All that stress
Hey.
of fighting, and she.
cheers to Kathy.
Ding.
Yummy.
Nice.
The
All right.
taste of victory.
Get the taste of
The
victory.
drama of this episode.
It is. It's amazing. It's
All
been a roller
right.
coaster so far. We'll see what happens after the break because we're going to be talking about is bourbon media going down the tubes. We'll get to that in just a few. Okay, let's talk about the people that make these shows happen. First up is the Stave and Thief Society. Via their in-person class at Moonshine University in Louisville, Kentucky, the Stave and Thief Society is the place where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge an executive bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my executive bourbon steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Speaking of Executive Bourbon Steward certification, the ABV Barrel Shop in St. Louis, Missouri has developed a unique partnership with the Stave and Thief Society to offer a preparatory class to assist you in getting your Executive Bourbon Steward certification. This prep class costs only $25 and is available to take live or online via Zoom. Graduates of our class receive a coupon code good for 15% off your Executive Bourbon Steward certification held in Louisville, Kentucky. This saves you almost $90. Additionally, you can collaborate with fellow attendees to split travel costs when you go to Louisville. If you're interested in signing up for the class, simply head over to abvbarrelshop.com and check out the classes and events page. Last but not least, we are sponsored by Neely Family Distillery. Royce Neely is the 11th generation distiller in one of America's oldest distilling families. A visit to Neely Family Distillery takes you through family history, where you can see all the artifacts and newspaper clippings through the years from this family that started distilling in America after James Neely arrived from Northern Ireland in 1740. Today, Royce Neely and his team are crafting some of the best spirits in America. Their bourbon and absinthe offerings keep winning top honors in the spirits competitions. Recently, their absinthe made history as the first platinum winner in the absinthe category at the San Francisco Spirits Competition. Neely Family Distillery is definitely a bucket list destination if you are a bourbon fan. Learn more about their spirit offerings, visiting their facility, and the awards they have collected over at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com. And now, back to the show.
It's JP Knobloch. I have nice hair on the ABV Bourbon Daily Show.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're talking about, is bourbon media dying?
Yes, we are. So, we've documented some of what's going on this very show. We keep, going back to articles that are just terribly written or filled with errors or you name it. We've been certainly bitching about it. But
They
Kathy,
even make you believe that there are Pop-Tart bowls.
Yes, yeah, we give some fake news in there too from time to time. Pop-Tart bowls. Kathy was a victim of AI. Yeah, you know how you see that stuff on AI, and most of us are now savvy enough to be like, that's made up, not Kathy. She was just like, oh, this is news. Here we go. I'll take it to the Bourbon Daily listeners. So yeah,
that's not a thing anybody wants, though. Why would you want that? This is off topic. Coming back to this later.
There may be a market for somebody.
Who wouldn't want to put ice cream in a bowl made of a Pop-Tart?
Yeah,
Kathy.
McNew, I would think McNew would be a fan because you can't toast them. The bowls are you can't put in your toaster.
You gotta eat them raw.
You gotta eat them raw, like McNew likes anyway.
What are you putting in the bowl?
Ice cream.
Ice cream.
That's so much. My teeth doesn't like ice cream, and that's so much.
My teeth doesn't like ice cream. My teeth doesn't like ice cream. There's a shirt right there.
Or an individual.
There's a shirt right there. My teeth doesn't like ice cream.
I did not say that sentence correct at all.
Correctly.
Not that we're keeping track. You ruined it.
Video, continue.
My teeth doesn't like ice cream.
That was the statement of the episode right there.
Right there. Okay.
This is why bourbon media is dying. I'm so sorry.
Bourbon media is dying, so here we go. We've just fallen off the rails ourselves. So. We're the last bastion of integrity in the bourbon industry, and now it's over. It's over for us.
Right out the window.
Yeah. This is the moment that our integrity is gone. This moment, none of the previous ones.
None of the previous
moment. Right here, good call.
Yeah,
no.
That was
5/29. Any of the Labor Day shows.
Right.
That's
Labor Day. Yeah.
The height.
Yeah.
So
Cassie, you typically do some research. What do you got on some examples of how we can take a look at bourbon media going down the tubes here?
I do have examples, and they're sad. They make me sad. So Maggie Kimbrell is reporting that she's only made $28,000 this year.
How's this possible? This is one of our greatest writers in bourbon. Fantastic person. Does a lot of personal appearances. Actually, I just watched a movie. She was narrating about the Licorice family in Texas. All these things she's doing. Magazine editor. Was running Bourbon Women for a while. All kinds of cool stuff. She's making $28K. Horrible.
It's depressing.
It is.
I'm gonna have to take a drink before I go on.
Okay.
On to the more depressing news. Steve Coombs, his income is down 50%.
Down 50%. Unreported as to what it is, but down 50% this year alone does not sound good.
Year over year, 50% loss, not a good thing.
No. Yeah.
Bourbon Plus magazine, it's just a shell.
It is. It's no
It's a shell
longer
of what it was.
what it was. Yeah. And it's not even that old. And it's just, it used to be so rich. Now it's just, yeah.
Obviously, we've talked about all the terrible journalism that's out there, mostly uninformed real people or uninformed artificial intelligence.
Right.
And besides ours, there are way
those
too many
things are-
podcasts out there.
Well, sure.
Yeah,
When I started
except
this,
for
yeah.
the ABV Network podcast.
Exactly.
The rest of them, whew,
Too many.
rough.
Yeah. When we started this, there was only one other bourbon podcast. Yeah. And there was other whiskey
Really?
podcasts. Yeah. There was
That's
other whiskey podcasts.
An interesting factoid.
Yeah.
Huh.
So number 2 podcast, but the Bourbon Show.
But
And
number 1 in our hearts.
exactly. Yeah. So yeah. Way too many now. I wonder what the number is now. I have no idea. Hundreds and hundreds.
That would
that's
be
for sure.
interesting.
Yeah.
Do you think you could just Google that, or would you have to count the list?
I think you'd have to count. I don't know that anything that, I'm sure Apple has some sort of way to do that.
I wonder if ChatGPT could figure that out for you.
Just good old look.
All right. Tim's on this. We'll see what happens. Well, he'll get back to us. Then
Chat Tim GPT.
Okay.
Tim GPT.
Tim GPT.
Yep.
And then just the effect of influencers who are out not to influence but to
Right.
attain,
Yes. I agree.
consume.
That's a problem. Yeah. I think to me, the real influencers are your Maggie Kimbrells and Steve Coombs of the world, the people who are contributing to bourbon, not just taking from it. They're those are the people that I trust and I look to. What do they like and do? So to me, they're influencers, even though they wouldn't categorize themselves as that. To me, what the problem with influencers is, that is a self-identifying thing. So look at me, I'm an influencer. And then they just start posting about stuff, and there's always going to be someone that's going to give you free stuff to start out, and then you get that. And once you get that, then you got legitimacy because you've had other companies give you stuff, and you just keep building your way up. And next thing you know, I see people who don't contribute to the world of bourbon getting things that people who do contribute don't get. So people actually writing articles and doing things that might actually help their brand don't. But I don't know. I'm not a brand, so like that. So I have no idea. Maybe that is a good thing to get them stuff. But I'd rather have it to the Steve Coombs and Maggie Kimbrells of the world. But that's me. What do you find out, Tim? Anything? You got anything for us?
Yeah, ChatGPT's having a hard time finding, because I basically asked the question: how many bourbon-focused podcasts are there on all platforms?
Okay.
They're saying they found a bunch of different lists featuring the top 30 podcasts, or there's like 60 to 70 plus is what they're saying. That are probably at a certain level of adoption.
Could you ask it how many podcasts have the word bourbon in their name? Just see what that number is. Obviously, there'd be more than that because there's some that aren't going to say the word bourbon, but they're about bourbon. But
Yeah.
Well, that would be interesting.
And they could not find the exact count. They could come across several bourbon-themed podcasts with bourbon in their names. Well, give me the list.
What if you ask it how many are on just one platform? So, how many are on Apple Podcasts, or how many are on one of the other? If you give it just one platform, will it count?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Where
That'd be
if I
good.
go search.
Search.
Like if I feel like Apple Podcasts and just typed in bourbon, like would it be like here's
Yeah.
10 1,000? Like would it tell me that?
Yeah.
Why it's updating the library? That's annoying. So I'm gonna Spotify.
You should contact your IT administrator.
Yeah.
It's not giving me anything. It's not
Nothing.
pulling up a specific
Okay.
number.
So
Like that.
AI let us down.
but it just I put in bourbon podcast and it doesn't say like however many. But we're number 4 on this list, and the bourbon show's number 5 on this list. So we're
Yeah.
showing up in the top
Yeah.
5.
Can you scroll and tell us how many swipes of scrolling on your phone it is? That was
The funny thing about that is we show up as number 4 and number 5. You know how Apple ranks them? Now I get there's something to the algorithm, but most of it involves how many downloads you get. But look at your list of your top 30 podcasts. We never make any of those. I don't understand how you get on those lists. I don't,
Just pull that up, Steve. It's on feedspot.com. The top 30 bourbon podcasts
yeah.
that are out there. Bourbon Daily is number 11 on this list.
Oh, okay. At least we're on there. Most of these lists we don't make, and it's like it's odd to me.
What I searched on Apple, we're number 8, and then the bourbon show's number 10.
Okay.
They're only pulling from Apple and Spotify on this list.
Gotcha.
For what it's worth there. So they're not pulling YouTube Music or all the other platforms that you're on.
There's a lot of platforms.
who uses those other platforms?
Steve.
Yes, I download our shows on everything. Of course.
Steve goes each morning and he downloads
each morning,
it on every platform available.
Amy's waking up and I'm like, quiet, I'm downloading. It's my downloading time.
Downloading.
Download all the shows. I'm
That's when
downloading.
you're sitting on the potty.
And
Yeah.
also, you need to download it too. Get on it.
Yeah.
Get on it. We need the downloads. Yeah.
Got all the
Bourbon Show is number
devices lined up,
16.
each phone, iPad, everything ready to download them all.
A wall of media that's downloading. That'd be nice. So, yeah, I think that bourbon hasn't been blessed with a lot of great media through the years, typically, but you do have some pros in there. And then, it seemed for a while, as this bourbon boom was happening, it seemed to be elevating. It seemed to be lifting because we had, 3 or 4 magazines pop up, dedicated to bourbon and whiskey. And even the ones that are just whiskey are a lot of it's bourbon focused. And I thought there were some good things happening, but I think that's corrected itself now. And I think this AI, is ruining what's happening, because we just did a show on an article that was clearly, remember that, Kathy, that was clearly written by AI. It was not a person. Yeah. Kathy even started doing a Google search on the author, and there was nothing out there. So clearly that publication just uses AI to create this, and it was filled with factual errors, just loaded with them. But yeah, that's kind of where the route a lot are going, and I think that's a bad sign, clearly.
What drives the publications is advertisers.
Mm-hmm.
And if the advertising dollars aren't going to print media anymore, they're going to digital media, and they could spread it out a lot more across all these various different influencers. Like, I'm still waiting to monetize something out of this outside of my own efforts. Like, nobody's reaching out to me saying, hey, by the way, I'd like to pay you to product push this or anything, and I wouldn't take it anyway. So for what it's worth, I want to do this the right way and take it my own speed and try to be more authentic with it as best as you can. But it's not my primary job. So I can be that snobby, if you want to call it that way, with what I'm trying to do. But I think it's the advertisers, so they can spread all these digital media people and these folks. And yeah, I'll never forget. I had one. I was talking with one distiller at a company, and she said, the only reason why I want to be on here with you is because you seem to be doing it the right way. And you're not just out there asking for free whiskey or free booze. I thought that was a very interesting comment. I didn't think about that.
They know.
Interesting.
They're like, no, we did the research on you. You've been around for a while. That's the reason why we're accepting the invitation to be on this one. We're more than happy to work with you. I love what you're doing, and you get it. You understand what we're trying to do, and you get it. I thought that was a hell of a compliment, number one. But number two, I didn't even think about it that way either. I was like, that's an interesting way to take it. And I'm sure there's a ton of people I'll reach. I've got this podcast, or I got this, that, or the other, and I got this, and it's. Is it really, or what is it? Is it your own little Instagram live feed or something like that? And how are you monetizing any of that? It's advertising dollars. I mean, I subscribe to all the print magazines. I have not all of them, but I've got a majority of the major print magazines that Maggie's a contributor for on a lot of them.
Right.
And I still get the print magazines, and I still have them. And it says I'm trying to support that industry.
Think about that. Think about how many articles you've read written by Maggie Kimbrell across these multiple platforms. And this is a person who, we're pretty late in the year here, where she's reporting that she's made 28,000 so far this year. So she's on path to make at least 30,000, I would think, by the end of the year. That's sad, right?
Hope there, and it's like, well, what?
Who's going to do that has any skills? So apparently she's doing it because she loves it. And I guess her and her husband are in some sort of financial situation where she can make $30,000 with her job and they're okay. They have 2 kids. They seem to be doing all right. But not everybody can do that. And, that means you're not getting good quality people. And that's what happens. It's a lot of hobbyists. It's a lot of, but that's unfortunately just in general news. It's happening too, as newspapers go away and reporters go away, and it's being filled in by bloggers and stuff like that. That's just picking up, stories that, they're not held accountable for things. And so how truthful is that? And there's factual errors and all kinds of things.
I mean, print media doesn't have an algorithm that pushes content to the people that they want. So they're already advertised to people that they know is going to be there. So what do I use? I use the digital platforms to push the algorithm to people that I want. I just cut you off. Sorry about that.
Oh, no. But my thought with this is also, as like consumers of whiskey and content, do you think our mindset has changed where, like, Forbes writes terrible articles, but they're all listicles, right? It's like top 10 whiskeys you should look for, top whatever. And it's a listicle. It's not an article. Right. I think a lot of people have the attention span to read full articles anymore.
Yeah.
I think that's part of it too. Like, TikToks are 5-minute videos. We're not really watching YouTube for 30 minutes. Like, I think our minds are so like, give it to me quick, give it to me a little bite. Yeah. We don't need real.
There's a lot of that
anymore.
That's a criticism that I'll get with like the Bourbon Show. People will be like, man, those interviews, when you get to be an hour and a half, 2 hours, I can't do it. And to me, the more interesting a person is, the more I want to hear from them in a free form interview where they can just say what they want. It's not, it's not a scripted situation where it's with PR people. It's just the people talking. I enjoy that. I enjoy that format. And that's why I like, long form interviews. People like Mark Maron is, he interviews celebrities. So I listen to his stuff, or, even Joe Rogan these days when he's doing, if it's somebody you're interested in and they're sitting in that chair for 3 hours just talking, that's stuff I want to hear. But
yeah. So I get that too, but like, I'm also a person to be like, all right, I got 30 minutes while I do my makeup. I know I can listen to like the Bourbon Daily or something. I know my shows that are 30 minutes because I don't like to be interrupted, because if I'm interrupted, I'm never coming back. I have to be like, this is my 30
So
minutes.
audiobooks are out for you. Unless you have a 15-hour clip where you can sit around and listen straight through.
Yeah, I never do. So it's just like, I have to have things in very short bite pieces for me. Unless it's an afternoon where I'm like, I have no meetings and I'm just going to like click clack at emails. Then I can listen to a 3-hour interview. That's fine. But I got to schedule that. I got to be like, hey, I wanted to listen to that. I have time on Thursday. Like that's how I have to do those things.
Right. Interesting. What about anybody else? What do they think about all this? What's happening?
It's definitely attention span and the AI thing. I see where there are benefits.
Right.
But in this particular situation, it's like the kid who got expelled for using AI to write a paper, and then his parents sued the school because it wasn't clearly stated in the policy, and the judge pretty much nailed the parents. He's like, right. You just can't do it. And it's such a, I'm sure there's going to be all the AI that's listening to me right now. I'm sure in the future, when you take over,
right,
there are going to be things that we'll appreciate. But the dumbing down of the world, it just...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's on high speed now.
Yeah.
In a committee I sit on for my real gig, one of the part of the agreements that I have to sign as be a member of this thing, a disclosure in there saying that I cannot use AI, and if I'm found to have used it to conduct my role of content writing that I do, then I'm off and never going to be welcome back. So there's something built into the contracts now where you have to have human thought. If they catch you doing it, because there's ways to search for it too as well.
Mm-hmm.
Grammarly and this, that, and there's a lot of ways to screen it. But you have to have somebody who knows how to do that and wants to do that. But it's coming. You're right, Kathy. The AI stuff is just, it's whittling it down, to your point, McNew, whittling it down to short bites that I can sit on the toilet and read at work and not worry about it, and then move back to work and go from there. And it's sad because the real content, the real passion of these families and these folks doing it are in the long formats like you do, Steve, on the Bourbon Show. Those long form interviews, the pairings that Maggie writes with cigars and the reasons why for the different whiskeys she's trying with it and her whole process she has with that and the stories that she gets to. I mean, that you could feel the writing and you can feel it all. And that the other stuff, I don't get it. I don't feel it. It's just content.
I wouldn't want to limit a Maggie Kimbrell because, and just hanging out with her, she was in St. Louis recently doing a press junket here. And, some of these things she'll work on, like a corn article, she'll work on that for years. There's certain things she's working on articles all the time, and just like someone making whiskey, some of these things come to fruition quickly. It's doing an interview with the person to put it out. That can be done. Other things you're researching and you're getting into, and you come back and you leave it, and then you get it. Well, I don't want to see a short form version of that. I want to see Maggie telling me everything that she's learned in these things. I think that this dumbing down certainly hurts real journalism as well. I mean, somebody like Maggie, we want her telling the whole story. So I don't like that kind of stuff either. And they typically in a lot of those jobs, and Maggie's got some of them where they pay you by the word, so they want less. They want you to get to the point quickly.
We're like you for this many words. Get there.
Right. Yeah. So that's all that stuff is just crazy to me. So it's a sad thing. I don't know that we can stop. We're just doing what we're doing. Having some fun, doing podcasts and putting out information in our content to Bourbon Zeppelin and a little bit more serious side on the Bourbon Show. And we'll just keep doing what we're doing, and hopefully, the good news is I don't have to answer to whatever the public wants. At least the loud ones. I do what I think is right, and hopefully the people that enjoy it find it, and then they like it too. That's always been my mantra: is just do what I personally believe in, and the audience will either find it or won't. And some things I do, people do find; other things they don't. But I just keep doing them. So yeah. I always like to talk about my movies. I never really found any real success with those, but I'm just going to keep doing them because I enjoy them. And at some point, someone's going to start watching those, and they're good. They're good. They're good.
On that, at one point in time, Steven, it's going to go like wildfire. That's what happens.
It is. I feel it's going to be one of those things where they're like, oh my God, he's an overnight success. But you're like,
right.
You're like, this is a really long night, guys.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It is a long night, so but just keep doing them. If you believe in it, just keep doing it the way you're doing it. And like I said, hopefully you get lucky and one day someone finds it and something happens with it. So we'll see. All right. On that note, we're going to wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Katie, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
You can find me over on Instagram at Katie Proof.
All right, Kathy.
You can find me on Instagram at KKCastStrength.
Tim.
Find me supporting our fine writers and journalists by subscribing to all the publications that I can afford, as well as on Instagram at SwyGuy2112 and on YouTube at Our Flagship Whiskey.
McNew.
I'm on Instagram at McNew ABV.
All right, for me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley, Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got a company website. That thing's abvnetwork.com. Check it out. Everything that we do is out there. Previous shows, blogs, so much more, abvnetwork.com. Come by and see us, the ABV Barrel Shop. You never know what's going on there. We've always got exciting, fun things happening. We are online, abvbarrelshop.com. McNew, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I'd like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review. That includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. And if you like what we're doing, we ask that you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
Great job today, gang. For audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace. Before we let you go, let's talk about one last thing. The ABV Barrel Shop in the St. Louis community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on a couple of things. First of all, single barrels. We are the place where single barrels live. We go to distilleries, taste through their whiskey, select the best barrel, and have it shipped to our store where we present it to you, our customers, by allowing you to try before you buy. We're also known for the classes that we have in our education center in the store, as well as the events we have with industry professionals from the bourbon business. If you are in the St. Louis area, please come by and visit us at 6 Fox Valley Center in Arnold, Missouri, or at a minimum, at least sign up for our email and text distribution so you know exactly what's going on in our shop over at abvbarrelshop.com. This is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network, signing off. We thank you for listening to our programming and truly appreciate your support.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.